And we are live, and welcome to the seventh inning stretch here. Happy to be with you on June 15th, 2023. I'm here joined by John from Out of Your Falcon Mind podcast, Josh Lewis from Thinking Baseball. Gentlemen, we have a big void to fill here. We have Edwards not here. Congratulations to him and his wife. First off, right? He's the man of the hour here. He had the new baby joined to his family, so congratulations to him. And we'll do our best to fill the void here tonight, boys, on seventh inning stretch. A lot to get into tonight on Variety Sports Network here. Proud to be part of that network, and glad to be joined by these fellas here, and glad to talk a little baseball tonight. John, how you doing here?
I'm doing great, man. And shout out to Josh. I didn't know that was the reason he wasn't here. But that's awesome, man. Yep. Congrats, Matty. Yeah, that's great. No, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me back, man. I think the last time I was on was we did a little preview before the season, and we had some fun with that. So I've been trying to get back on, but my schedule's stupid, and you guys being on the West Coast, maybe on the East Coast, that creates some issues sometimes. But hey, school's out. It's great. I'm here. It's awesome. Let's do it. Let's do it more often. I've got some bourbon. This is great. This is great.
It's not bad.
Yes.
Josh? Was it 7:30 our time, 10:38 his time? For us, it's just a cup of tea right here. We're just starting out. Josh, it's been a while, man, since I've talked to you. I know we got a lot to get into. You and Tyler, it's been a while since you guys were able to do your pod as well. You guys have had life come up that changes things. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. Yeah, life is crazy, but I'm excited. I'm on a streak now. 2 weeks in a row is a streak, right? Like I'm going. My fit isn't as cool as John's tonight, but
it's okay.
You're rocking it, man. I love it.
When this City Connect stuff came out for us, and they chose this design with the colors, I was like, man, okay, I'm going to go broke this summer. So yeah, that's definitely one of the better City Connects. And then not just because I'm a Braves fan, but I think they did a great job with it. I still love Chicago. I still love White Sox City Connect. That one's
theirs is really good too.
That one, and I like Arizona's too. There's not too bad either. The Serpent's pretty sweet.
All three of those were top 5. I did a piece for Variety Sports Network on ranking all the City Connect uniforms. That was before a couple of them have come out now, but yeah, Braves and D-backs for sure, definitely up there.
We finally got a win wearing them. We were like 0 for 4. I was like, this sucks. But yeah, I think we won Saturday with them, so that was nice.
Yeah, like the Giants. Like Darren mentioned, I'm a Giants guy. Like they're like ridiculously hot in their City Connect uniforms. They win all the time. I'm like, awesome. And why are we not wearing them more often?
Right?
Like, what? Come on. But
well, I don't think you guys could transition any better to my first topic today. A team that will not be having City Connect uniforms will be the Oakland A's. We're not having a City Connect uniform.
Oh, man, we need like some sad music.
How much of a slap in the face would that be, though, if they were already scheduled? Because I'm assuming like they've got to deal with Nike, right? Like, how much of a slap in the face would it be if they like already had it scheduled?
It wouldn't surprise me now. It wouldn't surprise me
to have like a City Connect Oakland jersey that's good for like a quarter of a season.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be ridiculous. I kind of just would love to start there with you guys tonight with the show. It obviously is very personal. It hits home with me, but it's kind of intriguing that this is the week that I'm hosting and you guys are on, because I think it's kind of, for me, it's an interesting perspective to get your guys' view on it from so far away. I've been to so many games there, went to so many Raider games there. It's very personal for me. But I thought it was really cool for my fan base to do that boycott on Tuesday night. I know a lot of people thought maybe it was a little lame too, but I'm all in favor of it. I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on the whole situation today. It became official without maybe the ownership somehow stepping in on the other cases, which I just don't see happening. It looks like the move to Vegas is going to happen here. Your guys' thoughts on the A's boycott there, and them kind of looking like it's officially going to Vegas. John, we'll start with you there.
I thought the boycott was kick ass, man. I mean, I would have, I thought it was great. And I thought it was even better that they did take 2 out of 3 from the Braves, which was not the plan there. So that was not fun to watch. But y'all strung off like 7 in a row, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
That was fun to see, and I just hate it for you, dude. Like all the A's fans, I hate it. Like if it was me, I would just be like gut punched, knowing like that's going to happen, and personally, I mean, the A's have a little bit of I do have a little bit of special place for them because they were my kids' first little league team. They were the Oakland A's.
There you
So
go.
yeah, that I do have some A's paraphernalia just for that reason. I still got some shirts and hats, but no, dude, yeah,
That counts.
yeah. But on a serious note, man, like the owner, like I think I sent you a message on Twitter, like the owner, dude, Fisher should not show his face in the city at all. If he does, he needs to be punched in the face. And seeing Manfred's response talking about,
I got it here at the bottom there.
It was yeah, okay, perfect, yeah. Did not even see that. But yeah, that's ridiculous, dude. Like blaming the fans, like when the owner didn't do shit. Come on, man. Yeah, ridiculous. That's just ridiculous.
Go ahead, Josh.
I feel like Manfred did not take any of the how to handle media interviews classes before he took over as commissioner.
No.
Dude, he's terrible. Like for all his
Awful.
issues, like whether you agree with him or not, like at least like he just is not gifted in the area of handling media anything.
Somebody should have like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like
no.
Somebody should have been like, Rob, you sure you want to go out there and say this? Like, this is what you want to come out with? Like, you want to go out there and bash the fans of Oakland and the people after this dude didn't do jack anything to support the stadium or upgrade the stadium or anything? Like, come on, man.
Here's my scene. So like, did you guys ever watch the show with The West Wing, like back in the day?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So like, I have this image that from that show that like I feel like every commissioner of sports should have. There should be a person that literally anytime you're walking up to a mic, they are handing you a folder of what to say. Like that's just, I feel like with all the money that's thrown around, like you can't hire somebody to like write a little something for you. Like what? Just I feel like. Man, just other commissioners do it too. Like I'm not just
what do you think of I'm curious what you guys think of, if I can take this to a different part here, is like, what do you guys think of like the owners being okay with this guy not spending money on players for a history of 20 years where literally Eric Chavez is the highest paid contract that he's ever given out at $66 million, and he's been retired 10 years. And they've let a ton of good players go. I mean, John, you have Olsen and Murphy obviously on your team alone there.
Yes.
I just don't understand how the owner side of it can let something like this be.
Oh, I do.
I don't know. So it's weird to me that other than it just being a good old boys club, I don't understand how this can be looked upon as a good move, fair. I just don't understand. I mean, Oakland has its faults. I get that.
That's part of it is that good old boys like mindset and attitude and whatnot. But I'll say it just from a personal perspective. Like obviously I'm not a multi-billionaire, but like if I'm in that position, let's say I own a team, like that's how I try and kind of put myself into these positions, right? If I own a team and there's another owner who is refusing to put a good team on the field, cool, man, that's more wins for us. Like I don't know other than that. Like, yeah, it gives a bad perception to that city and to that product and whatnot. But for me, like if I'm the Angels owner or the Rangers owner or the Astros owner, I'm like, cool, more wins for us, man. Easy money, easy wins. Like I'm 100% okay with that. Yes, it's damaging to the game, but if I'm in an owner position of another owner,
yeah,
cool, man, easy wins.
Yeah, I don't think any other owners are losing sleep over it. I mean, for that, I mean, they like you said, they're like, yeah, it's hurt the game. Yeah, it does. But who cares? They're going to move the cities anyway. It doesn't hurt me any, so why am I going to care that much? You know, which sucks, but that's.
Do you guys think that the A's should keep their name? Do you think that's something that should come with them, or are you kind of in the mindset or like
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, they've kept the name through multiple moves in history anyway, so I'm like, it is what it is. Like I don't care for keeping the names. Like I'm a Southern California guy, so like I'm a Lakers fan. Does the name Lakers make any sense for LA? No, but they kept the name from moving. Like it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah,
I'm good either way. How do you feel about it?
I think for me, it's a little weird. I'm like, I just don't see how they can change how they're not going to keep the name. I mean, they had it from Philadelphia. So if you look at it from a history perspective, I mean, it's just kind of how the A's have always been. They've moved all the time in that perspective. You know, it's just very frustrating for me. Like it's very disappointing to have a team that you grew up watching going to so many games with move out of your area. And, it sounds kind of corny, but like it is kind of like I can't take my kids to the game. It's like one of those things you kind of look forward to when you have kids. It's like, damn, but like I guess I got to take them to the crappy Giants games. Like, I guess that's what happened. Yeah. Sorry, John. You know what I mean? But like, it's just not the same for me. And you think of your dad and all that stuff that happens. So that's the stuff that sucks for me. But then I know that comes along with the territory, and I'm not the first fan to feel that. And I won't be the last. So I just thought that was a good thing to get your guys' perspective on. Kind of being kind of far away from the area, not really personally attached to it, other than John, you reaping the benefits of all our players recently.
Olsen went deep again tonight, baby. 456 tonight. It was great.
He did. All right, from that negative news of the A's here, let's get into my hit and run segment here that I had. You guys, the Reds have been on fire, and I kind of have this with every team kind of come June, July. Are they a team of destiny? That's kind of the way I kind of worded it here. I'll let you guys go with however you kind of see them moving forward. They've called up some young prospects. De La Cruz has looked really good for them. The speed combination with power kind of reminds me of your guy in Atlanta there a little bit. Hard not to think of him. What do you guys make of the Reds there? John, let's start with you.
Yeah, they kind of remind me a little bit, honestly, of the Braves from 2015-16 when we were really, really not good, bad, losing a lot of games. We had some young, good guys, Freeman, Swanson, that were, just kind of getting their footing, but, we had bad teams. We were definitely rebuilding, and all of a sudden, we get Acuna coming in, we get Albies coming in, and, manager change was huge from going from Gonzalez to Snit, and then just a whole, we talked about it, or I was talking with you guys, or with Darren the other night on your show about the chemistry, and the chemistry just happened. Like those, it was a bunch of young dudes. They were hungry. The guys, I say vets, the guys that went through the rebuild, that went through those losses and suffered that, they did not want that to happen again. So they kind of rallied around each other, and kind of built this. And the same thing with pitching staff as well. I mean, kind of built this camaraderie, and like I said, the way Snit handles the team and the roster, it just started fostering winning, and that's the thing about baseball. And like we talked about, you can't buy that, I mean, I know Steve Cohen's tried his damnedest too, but he can't do it. And it's just, I can see that in the Reds, man. You're talking about India, Tyler Stevenson, which by the way, from like 5-10 minutes down the road from me, in Kennesaw, Georgia. He's killing it. And then you look at the young pitching staff that's getting it together. I definitely think that as bad as it was for them to as much as it sucked for them to lose, as bad as they did the last couple of years, they learned a lot, and now they're reaping the benefits from it. Because I think that they're just having fun. They're out there having fun, and they're winning, and it's going to continue. It's just contagious, man. I think they could absolutely take the division this year.
What do you think there, Josh? I mean, they're on fire. The game and a half out, almost 500 here. Can they win that division?
Anybody can win that division.
That's
agreed.
Anybody can win that division. So there's that. Like they could get hot and they could maintain it. These guys, they kind of remind me a little bit of the D-backs from last year, of kind of showing some flashes and having these young guys that are getting some experience and whatnot. I do think that that's kind of become the formula that we've seen in Major League Baseball in recent years. Is okay, you're going to get these guys some experience. Hunter Green is going to take another step forward, like those type of things, to where that young pitching staff is going to be phenomenal next year. I think they'll fall just short this year. I think they'll be in the thick of it. They'll make things interesting. They'll play spoilers, all of that. But they're going to be like the D-backs were last year. They'll play spoilers. They'll beat some good teams. They'll kind of do that thing, but they're not going to make the playoffs. I don't think that they'll make the playoffs. I don't think they're quite there yet. But like the Diamondbacks, look out for them next year. I think that could be, they could do what the Diamondbacks are doing this year and kind of run away with it next year.
Hunter Green looks ridiculous. I mean, you see that when he first came up, like you're like, okay, he's a little wild, but like, my God, he throws 102 miles per hour as a starting pitcher. It's hard not to like the Reds. And the other thing I like about the Reds, like you said, is the division. It's not a deep division. There's no reason they can't win that division. I mean, the Pirates right now are in first place. And I guess that leads to my next hit and run question here. This involves the Pirates and the Giants here, Josh. What's more likely, the Giants win the NL West or the Pirates hang on and win the NL Central? What do you think is more likely there to happen? Right now, the Pirates only hold a game lead. The Giants are 4.5 out of first place in the NL West. Obviously, the NL West is a lot harder, but people would have told you at the beginning of the year the Reds wouldn't have a better chance than the Giants. So what do you think there?
Yeah, so at this point, you're right. Like I would have had to flip flop. Like at the beginning of the year, I'm like, well, I wouldn't really give either team a chance, but but at the same time, like now where we are now, like the NL Central is mid, man. Like it's
so bad every year.
It's so mediocre. Like there's usually I look at it as like it's a competitive, like all the teams are decent. To whereas this year it's like everybody's kind of more on the bad side of 500. Like they're not really that great. I at the beginning of the year I picked the Cubs to win that division, and so that's looking a little weird. But no, if I was given the shot, like the Dodgers are still the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks are ridiculous. The Padres, if they put things together, they're still good on paper. So if they put things together, they could be dangerous. Like the Giants definitely have a bigger fight. However, I mean, they've got kind of the same stuff that we're talking about this year. They've got a lot of young guys that have come in that have really sparked the lineup.
Matos, was it?
Luis Matos made his debut and got a hit yesterday. Casey Schmidt could win Rookie of the Year, could give Corbin Carroll a run for his money if he comes out of this slump that he's been in. Patrick Bailey at catcher, finally pushing the bust that is Joey Bart out of here. So I mean, there's a lot of different things. I'm loving all these kids. We haven't seen Kyle Harrison yet, but we saw Wynn get a 4-inning save the other day in his debut. So they're kind of doing the same thing. Like these young guys are coming up, getting some experience, and so again, I'm a little bit more confident in the Giants next year because I think the Dodgers, unless they get Shohei, are not going to be as great next year as they are this year. But this weekend will be huge. So it's Dodgers Giants this weekend, starting tomorrow, 3-game set. If we sweep them, if the Giants sweep them, then we overtake them in the standings. If we win 2 out of the 3, then we're kind of neck and neck. The Diamondbacks are tough, man. They've got a Cy Young candidate in Zach Gallen. They've got other great starters like Merrill Kelly. They've got a solid lineup, some veteran leadership like former Giant Evan Longoria. But like they just have a great blend, and I love their manager. I love Torey Lovello. I think he's a great manager. So I don't know that anybody can catch the Diamondbacks unless they just really like lose their shit and just completely implode. But I'm not taking it as far as like I'm in Arizona, right? So local radio was like talking about Corbin Carroll today and was like, oh, he could win Rookie of the Year and MVP. And I'm like, whoa, calm down. Like there's a guy over in Atlanta.
They gotta get ratings at some point.
Yeah. There's a guy over in Atlanta that might have something to say about that. Freddie Freeman might have something to say about that. There's some other guys, but I don't think he'll win MVP. Let's calm down. But like he's running away with Rookie of the Year right now.
So yeah. So you got Pirates or you got?
I got Pirates. 100%. 100% Pirates.
How do you feel about that? You got Pirates or Giants there?
Yeah, probably Pirates. Just like same reason Josh said. I mean,
believe in the Pirates then. I
don't know if believe in the Pirates. Yeah.
I think it's more belief in what Arizona has and less belief in what the whole Central Division is, basically. But I mean. But no, yeah, I mean, for every reason that Josh said, I mean, you know, that whole just looking at the standings. I mean, like you said, I mean, you know, St. Louis. I don't know what happened to St. I mean, I know obviously Edwards would probably have something to say about it, and the guys on the. But I mean, 27-42 is not what I would have expected, you know, and then 30-37 for the Cubs, and you know, Cincy almost like you said, almost at 500. Milwaukee at 500, and you know, Pittsburgh 2 games over 500. So yeah, it's just I don't know, man. Smitty, what's going on, man?
Checking in, Pirates, Giants not overtaking the Dodgers. Probably not. The Dodgers, I always say, have the best 1-2 combination in the league at the top of the order. Doesn't get much better than Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman in there. Arizona running away with the West. To me, that's the team that it's hard for me to like go all in, because sometimes that happens in baseball. You have these teams get these first halves, but baseball's a grind. Like that's why it's such a veteran sport, and sometimes it's because these guys know how to play it out through the year. We'll see if Gallen and Kelly are ready for it, because they're going to take on a big load, and then there's always going to have to be one guy that steps up that you're not sure of. So the other thing too is with Arizona is, does ownership or does GM believe in them enough to make a big trade and maybe give them that momentum that a team that like that will definitely need. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. Arizona and the Dodgers would be a fun little fight at the end there.
That is funny. The Arizona lineup is like there's no like superstar stud that stands out.
No,
It's like they're just all good baseball players.
they're just all good. Like they do.
Yeah, I mean,
like I hate to use the Giants as an example all the time, but like they remind me a lot of the 2010 Giants. Like just that there's nobody in there that you're like blown away by, but they've got a rookie of the year in Corbin Carroll, just like we had Buster Posey. Like, I mean, it just, there's some anchors there that like they don't have any like superstar that is gonna like blow you away, like you said, but they've got a lot of solid pieces that just go together really, really well. And they've got that 1-2 punch, like we said, with the pitching. And they're horses, man. Like I think Gallen and Kelly have they've been hurt here and there, but nothing like anything anybody hasn't dealt with. I mean, no extended absences or anything.
And I can't say that they're going to – I mean, if they run away with the West, amen to – I mean, that's impressive against a Dodgers team that is just feels like one of those teams that's like, we're always coming. We're just going to be there all the time. Like we're going to be over. We're ready to go at any moment there. So it'll be interesting with those teams going forward there. With it, I got my next hit and run here. Any problem with any of the first round All-Star voting? I don't know if you guys saw any of the votes in the first place there. We got Vladimir Guerrero holding down first base, Marcus Semien second base, Chapman third base over maybe over Devers if that's a issue there. We got Bo Bichette at shortstop. And Aaron Judge, Trout, and Alvarez lead your outfielders. So I don't see anything on the American League side there. Anything stand out to you? All-Star voting? Do you guys have an issue with any of the issues with All-Stars, the way they vote, or anything like that, Josh?
It's always an interesting play. Like the All-Star game is just kind of weird. Like I love the All-Star game. Don't get me wrong. Like I think it's the best All-Star game of any sport. But so I'm not like poo-pooing on the All-Star game by any means. Just All-Star voting in general, just across the board for sports is always weird. I don't have any problems with the starters. I'm really interested. For me, it's usually an interest in like who are going to be the reserves and the pitchers for the All-Star games, because for me, that's a little bit more interesting because
doesn't it feel like now every time like an All-Star vote comes out, it's like 10 guys aren't going to be there. And then like, some random guy makes the All-Star game.
Yeah, I don't like the randomness of like, so like I'll just give an example just because I'm in tune with the Giants every day. Like, all right, like if a bunch of guys don't end up going and let's say like rookie Casey Schmidt makes the roster, I don't think that'll happen, but like something like that, I'm like, like I love me some Casey Schmidt, but man, like that doesn't feel right. Like, but there are guys to where I'm looking at the All-Star game and I'm looking at, I don't have a problem with any of the starters. That I don't have any problems there. It's more interested to me, like the rules, quote unquote, of like, for example, like every team has to have a representative, right? Which I think is a fine rule. I don't have anything against that rule, but what are these teams like? Look at the Diamondbacks, right? Like last year, the representative was a reliever named Mantiply. Like I can't even remember his first name. Like it's
a Marvel like villain,
right? Like they had one guy that was their lone representative.
Mantiply.
Same thing this year. Like okay, who's gonna go from the Diamondbacks? Obviously, you've got then you've got the multiples, right? It's like okay, maybe they don't have a starter, but you've got like Carroll, Gallen, like these guys. And you're just like, man, like I look at the Giants, for example, like the Giants, I feel like should have 2 or 3 guys in the All-Star game, not just one lone representative.
But not starting probably.
But not starting, which is what I'm saying. Like, I don't have an issue with the starters at all. It's a little Blue Jay heavy, but
do you think that Riley? Let's go to John. Do you think Riley should start over Arenado? Arenado, that's the one I'm thinking.
Right who's there, leading? Is Riley ahead right now?
No, Arenado.
Arenado.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. Until Arenado falls off a cliff, he should probably be the one at third base.
He was off a cliff. That's my point.
He was.
Riley's been consistent. But just I think Arenado's only leading based on reputation and based on he's been really hot the last week and a half. So he's kind of made up for it a little bit. But the beginning of his season was awful. Like he was a dumpster fire at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Like so.
What I love though is Arcia at shortstop.
Oh yeah, Do you like him over there?
Dude, I mean, we're paying him like a 90th of what Dansby's getting paid over in Chicago.
I know.
I mean, it feels good, man. It feels good. And I was fine with. I think we talked about it on the show, but before the season, I was fine. It hurt more emotionally that Dansby, because Dansby's an Atlanta kid. You know, he grew up here, playing here, won a World Series here. You know, and then he, you know, the move to Chicago was fine, and then he brought up the whole story of his coming home and his grandfather watching the Cubs on WGN, so had a special place in his heart. Dude, they're the only team that offers you $175 million. That's why you went there. Like, it's a cool story and all, but you went there for $175 million, and the Braves didn't offer you that. That's fine. That's fine. But I mean, I think I said on the show, like, you know, it sucks that emotionally, but as a hitter and as a player, fantastic defensive player. But he is streaky as hell. Like, when he goes cold, he is cold, and it could last for a while. You know, and RC has just taken the job and just ran with it, dude. I mean, hitting well over 300, has a cannon for an arm, and just, you know, he never really blossomed, you know, at Milwaukee, but he's getting a chance to now. And hey, look at him, you know, I love it.
And Murphy's fitting in right there as the catcher for you guys, leading the league in All-Star votes by quite a bit. So he'll probably be the All-Star starter.
I wasn't expecting the offensive. Me either. Like, I knew we were getting just stud behind the plate, you know, could throw guys out, which he's been doing. But like tonight, I think he was 3 for 4 tonight. I mean, like, he just violent swing, dude. Like, he goes up there angry, ready to kill somebody, and like, it's
man. I remember when he was a rookie, and he could not lay off a slider if his life depended on it. Now he's finally figured out how to lay off that outside slider, and like it's pretty cool to watch. Real quick here, and we'll move on here. Just real quick, what do you got here? Do you prefer the All-Star game at this point, John, or the Home Run Derby?
The kid in me prefers the Home Run Derby still.
All right.
But no, I agree with Josh. It's the best, because you can't really take it easy in baseball. Like, you can't. No. Like, either, you know what I mean? Like,
you're not going to be up there and get embarrassed. You're not going to get up there.
Exactly right. You're there for a reason. You're in front of all these people. Yeah, no. But that's the Home Run Derby is still fun for me. So, especially, I want to see Ronald back in it this year. I could do without Chris Bergman, but I want to see Ronald back in it this year. Now that he's completely healthy, and he, you know, I want to see that, but we'll see.
What do you think, Josh?
The Home Run Derby again is like one of the best skills competition type things again in any sport. Like, you get like guys ducking the dunk contest and stuff like that, right? Like, even if you have players that duck the Home Run Derby because they don't want to mess with their swing or whatever the excuse is, like, you're still getting studs up there that can hit the ball a long way. Like, it's not like, if you follow baseball, you know every player that's in the Home Run Derby. It's not like, even if you follow basketball and you watch the dunk contest, you're like, who's this guy? Like,
literally every year.
Yeah. So I do love the Home Run Derby. The Home Run Derby is what I watch with my kids most often. And so I do love that aspect of it. And so I do love the Home Run Derby, but for me, I'm just such a fan of competition. Like, I love the hitter pitcher matchup. And so I love seeing Ohtani go up against like Freddie Freeman or something like that. Like, I love these matchups that you see in the All-Star game, because like, it's amazing. Like, whether or not you get home field in the World Series.
That was dumb as hell. Yeah.
I don't think that needed to happen. That was weird. I don't really care about it, but for me, it's still the All-Star game. The All-Star game is still kind of the granddaddy of them all, so to speak. And so I love it.
We got here Smitty Sports Machines chiming in here. All-Star game, winner gets home field in World Series. That was when it was at its worst moment. But Seeley caught a pickle there. What we say there, John? We caught a pickle. Shout out to your podcast there. That's what he was. That's what he was. Literally, maybe one of the worst decisions he ever made as commissioner, making that home field advantage. The All-Star game for me is always a little bit better. I will say I'm just a little bit, when they took away the uniforms, when they made them different last year, made each team on that, took it away from me. Mm-hmm. One thing I always liked about baseball was like the uniform part of it, how they each wore their own uniform and not one same one. I don't know, something about that doesn't sit right with me. Before I get to our question of the week,
so that's actually interesting. I'm actually on the flip side of that. Okay. Of like, I know a lot of people kind of poo-poo on it because it's like, oh, it's just more jersey sales and blah blah blah. like I get that. I get that argument. I'm not saying that you're wrong by any means. I'm always on the flip side of it because I like, from the player perspective, if I ever made an all-star game, like this is like, that's like a memento type thing. Like it's like I have this other jersey that shows, like it's like a trophy. Like
don't they do that for the warm-ups though during like home run derby? And
that's
stuff
that's a fair point. If they have warm-ups or whatever to keep, that's a fair point. But like to me, it just be like it's like a trophy. It's like, oh, I participated in the all-star game. I have this other jersey to kind of show for it.
Not to mention the home run derby. Not to backtrack to that, you have to like to participate in that now. You have to be in pretty damn good shape because like it is like those guys are done at the end of that competition. Yeah. Like done. If you make it to the finals, like that, you've taken a shit ton of swings. Like,
dude, I was talking to a dude that was talking about. He's like, oh, it's basically like jumping in the cage for 20 minutes. I'm like, no, it's not. No. It's really, really not. Like you're swinging as hard as you can every single time because you want to mash, and like
with 55,000 watching you,
it's exhausting. It's like I have so much respect for the guys who participate in the home run derby, but
nobody wants to go out there and ground out to second base or something like that in any of those things at all. Now there's some fun home run derbies out there. Like I remember when McGuire and Bonds went at it at Veterans Stadium. That was a fun one that I kind of remember. Griffey obviously over in Baltimore. That was a fun one as well. Yeah, I'm with you on the uniforms there. There's something about that. It kind of represents your team a little bit. So that's the part I'm with it on the All-Star game. That'll be about a month away, gentlemen. Believe it or not, that's coming up right here in about 4 weeks. Yeah. I got a little who's hot, who's cold here before we get to the question of the week. Who's hot around the MLB? Yeah. I got who's Ohtani. He's been absolutely on fire. This isn't pitching, people. Hitting. He's got 5 home runs in the last week, 8 runs, 10 RBIs, batting .500. Tatis Jr., 7 runs, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. Looks like he's back, people. Scary. He looks like he's motivated. The Padres aren't putting it together yet, but he looks like he's ready to roll in that part of it. You got Kershaw. He struggled a little bit. He's been better the last 3 starts. To me, it's just amazing. He's still doing what he's doing at his point. You know, he's just consistent as can be. He's been hot this week as well. And Michael Wacha, he's been hot as well this week in MLB. Any of those names stand out to you? Anybody want to add to the list there, gentlemen? Josh?
Yeah, I'll just add the rookie class as a whole.
Yes.
like just rookies have been impressive this year. Yeah. Like, and they're all coming out the gate hot. Like there is no like waiting around. Like they're getting their first hit, their first home run, and their first at bat. I mean, just like they're just everybody. Like it seems like if you get called up, you're mashing right off the bat and playing great defense. I mean, you have Corbin Carroll, Eli De La Cruz, like Casey Schmidt, like just the kid in Miami whose name escapes me all the time.
Reyes.
No, so not he's been hot. He's been ridiculous. He's not a rookie.
But, you meant a rookie. Yeah, my bad.
There's a rookie for the Marlins that I'm just, I'm totally blanking on his name. But anyway, like just rookies are hot, man. Like it's ridiculous. But yes, but so to Smitty's point on the Angels, just real quick, like yes and no. Like that's a knock on them every year. Like that's always a thing. But I will say there has been some games this year where it's been like, oh, Trout and Ohtani went 0 for 8 and they still won. Like that didn't used to happen. And that's happening a little bit this year. Not all the time. Like it still needs some work, but like they've actually had some games this year where they're like, okay, like our 2 best players didn't perform. You've got Nito over there. You've got Renfroe over there. Rendon is starting to maybe figure it out. Who knows? Man. But
don't jinx him.
Yeah, right. He got drilled. I was watching their game earlier today. He got drilled in the arm. We'll see how he's
probably out for 5 weeks now. He's Anthony Davis of Major League Baseball. He's out.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. The Angels are wasting a lot of talent is necessarily the case this year, but that's been an argument obviously every year. But who's hot, who's cold? Like who's cold? We got to throw the Cardinals in there just as a whole.
Oh, I got them in a second there with it.
They've been. I didn't pick them to win the division, but they've been awful. Like they just, and I don't get it. Like they've got still two of the greatest players in the game. They still have what you think would be solid pitching. Like it's just, man, they're a train wreck. And like I know, like their manager is not the best. I'm not a Marmol fan, but man, like they've been ice cold. Like it's ridiculous.
John, you got any thoughts there on who's hot? I got some also colds in here. I got Bo Bichette's been ice cold. Adolis Garcia, Matt Olson has been struggling a little bit over the last 14 games as well. So some guys that have been a little cold over the last couple weeks there in Major League Baseball. Any thoughts on that? I know Spencer Strider, who's been unreal for you guys. He's been rocked the last couple of games as well. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about, but he did he give up 3 home runs in his last outing. That's something with stuff like him you're not expected. So
did he finally skip? Did he finally skip leg day? Is that what happened?
No.
Did he finally skip leg day? Is that what
never going to happen? It's dude. Matt Olson has some of the weirdest stats this year. Like he'll lead the league in strikeouts, but then his OPS is really good. RBIs are up there, home runs are up there. That's like but today was Snit actually moved him down the lineup. He's been batting in the 2-hole. He's been batting. Yeah, he's in batting in the 2-hole. He moved him down to 5 today. I think he was at 5, and it moved Ozzy up to.
He batted 4 for the A's.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I thought, see, to me, like, and we've been doing okay. Obviously, we're doing fine, but like, I don't like a guy with high strikeout numbers in my 2-hole.
Oh man,
like and Ozzy's not been striking out a lot, so like if he can be that guy there, cool, stay there. Strider worries me a little bit because he's been working on a changeup. It's not really, he doesn't use it enough, in my opinion. He's got a nasty wipeout slider. He's basically a closer that's a starter, And I mean, he's got a nasty wipeout slider and he's got a ridiculous fastball that, like Kimbrel, being 5'11", 5'10", whatever he is, it looks like it's rising, as opposed to, coming down from like the taller pitchers. But, I think Bobby Cox said it, these guys major league hitters can time a jet, so like if you're going to, and if I'm a manager of opposing team and Strider's on the mound, I'm just telling, look, go hunt the fastball. If you get taken out by a slider, fine, but just go hunt the fastball and put wood on it. And that's what they've done the last 2 games. So he's gonna have to, figure it out a little bit, I think. But yeah. Oh, another, and not to just make this Braves heavy, but Michael Harris is starting to come back on again. He was cold as hell for quite a while.
That was a couple months spell there.
Yeah.
Back to Olsen real quick. That was always my issue with him on the A's, like because they did make the playoffs with him twice there. Is that he struck out too much. Like in always clutch situations, I was like, even a spot where he could just fly out to left field, like that was like always my big issue with him and Matt Chapman. I was like, just put the freaky ball in play. Like, so maybe you're experiencing some of that at times.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, he's a beast though. Like he just gets red hot. I mean, just absolutely red hot. Where he can hit like 10 home runs to 12 home runs.
When he's going opposite field is when he's really locked in, and then when when he's being pull happy, which is fine if you're pulling it into the chop house and stuff like that, like he did earlier tonight. But I mean, it's a little frustrating, especially because Riley can get that way too. Riley can get, when he's down, he can start striking out quite a bit too. So if you're, 2 of your top 4 guys are, heavy strikeout guys, not great, but I mean, luckily they haven't been cold really at the same time, so that's a plus. But yeah, I mean, that's and Ronald's just been hot all damn season. So I mean, that's just been he's the
best player in baseball now outside of Ohtani. It's not even close.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. He's got more. I think I saw the stat. What was it? He's got more hits with exit velos over 100 than like 25 teams, the total. Like on their team, like he's a
freaking nature. I'm trying to think who he's almost like Josh. Like help me out. Like I can only think of lefties like that were like him. Like when he came onto the scene, like I can't think of any righties that were like as explosive, stealing the bases. Even Ricky Henderson, who I love more than anybody else. Like I feel like that's the only guy I can think of. But like he does it differently than Ricky. But like that's the one guy I can think of.
He could have a 35-60 season this year. I mean, like that's
stolen bases.
It could be good. He could be 35 70s. Yeah. I mean, that could be that. I mean, he's I mean, and it's just it's just that was my preseason. I just thought, like seeing the work he put in the offseason and the shape he keeps himself in, and like he last year he was clear he was still favoring his knee. Like he did not feel comfortable with it. You could tell in the outfield. Like he made some business decisions on some balls that he definitely previously healthy would have either dived for or made a play at. This year you're seeing him do all that stuff. You're seeing him really get the torque out of his when he swings. It's all back. So it's just now he's got the confidence going to go with it. So I mean, yeah, I mean the contract still worries me in the back of my mind because I mean. You're looking at, the guy signed for 10 years, $100 million, when he's putting up numbers like this is like, eventually he may, ring up his agent and say, man, I mean,
what do you think of this question here where he says, what team do you think will fall off in the second half here? You guys got any thoughts on that? Appreciate you tuning in tonight's Smitty Sports Machine. I've seen you commented on John's podcast on Out of Your Falcon.
Smitty's great, man. Smitty is awesome.
Appreciate you taking the time to watch tonight and check in to our baseball conversation. Hope you're enjoying the show. John, I have this a little bit later, but as a good host, you can always adjust on the fly here. Which do you think? What do you think falls off in the second half here? Which team that you think? We got the Rays, obviously, in first place at the moment. We got the Rangers in first place. They kind of are hitting a little bit of skid. Maybe your Braves. Are you bold enough in the sweatshirt to say that? We talked about the Diamondbacks. It sounds like you're on with them, and then of course you have the Twins. I mean, we could go with some wild card teams like the Orioles and Yankees. Any team that kind of stands out to you that might fall off here in the second half?
Can the Mets fall further, or is that not an option? Can I pick that? No.
I feel like you're probably enjoying this more than you. It was kind of predictable, right? And in a way, kind of predictable, right? In a way, we saw this with the Yankees.
I love it, man, because I mean, the Mets and Braves is just like the Falcons and Saints. I mean, like there's a lot of hatred between those two squads. I mean, it's just so it was great being at Cooperstown, by the way, wearing Brave stuff everywhere, and the Mets fans just giving me the really just the evil eye, which was great. But no, yeah, I mean. I keep wanting to think Baltimore's eventually going to fall off, but they played us tough as hell here, man, in Atlanta, and they're a good squad. So it's hard to say them.
They're the little engine that could over there. They're not making a lot of noise this year like they did. Like they're not a surprise like they were last year. No. So they're just kind of plugging away, just being good, like just kind of biding their time. Like They might be ready to strike and kind of take that division kind of sneakily.
I'll say Miami. I'll say, and I just because more of it's hope than anything. But I mean, Miami's. If you had told me beginning of the year that Miami's going to be in second place, and I think 4.5. We got we'll go a 5-game lead on them right now. And I mean, I just don't. Yeah, I'll just the brave in me wants to just say, they're not for real.
I am not a Braves fan, and that was.
He said Mets and Marlins.
I'm not a Mets fan or a Braves fan at all, and
screw the rest of the East.
Too. Yeah, all of them just tank.
Fuck them all.
That's good.
I had the Marlins too, actually. Like I don't see them maintaining what they're doing. It's a cool story and all with Arias, but I don't think that's maintainable. Or sustainable. That's what I was looking for. I don't see them staying in second. I could see them going all the way to the dumpster other than the Mets, but the Mets are just bad. I don't believe in the Rangers yet.
Bruce, your boy.
That offense is for real, I think.
I did not. I thought that they were going to need one more year to adjust with Bochy being there and whatnot.
And then DeGrom goes out.
Dude, I feel so bad for
is
DeGrom,
out.
Dude. God.
I'm tired of DeGrom. I got into that a little bit last.
I have a heart, Josh.
Last episode. You guys can go back and listen to my DeGrom take last episode. But I'm tired.
He was crying, and I felt so bad for him. He started crying. He's upset.
Sounds like the Tin Man. He needs a heart right now.
Wipe his ears with $100 bills.
I may feel that way if he was still on the Mets, but now the fact that he's with the Rangers, I feel.
That's true.
No, I'm tired of DeGrom. He's the new Mark Pryor. I'm done. Like,
Dude,
but anyway,
effort, man.
Like that's my biggest issue with him. It's like stop trying to throw it 110.
Yeah, fucking learn how to pitch.
Make an adjustment and learn how to pitch, dude.
Yeah.
Like your stuff is good enough. Like
100%.
Bill's my fantasy baseball team every year. So,
Yeah.
so you think the Rangers fall off? That's legit chance.
I think with how good the Astros are, just always like, yeah, they haven't been
pain
like
in the ass.
they haven't been dominant this year. Shout out to back that Astros up on VSN, but they haven't been like lights out like they have been. But I feel like they're like the Dodgers. Like them and the Dodgers are just like they kind of are phoning it in for the regular season, and then they're just going to get hot the last month and then just dominate everybody. Although Yordan Alvarez has been out, so who knows?
Yeah.
But we'll see.
The Phillies, the champs.
And I see the Angels coming on too. So like I don't have in that division, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the Rangers yet. Like, yes, they are playing well. You've got Simeon, you've got Seager, you've got like those guys, Lowe and Garcia. And I don't know. They just haven't proven it quite enough yet for me. They're kind of like how the Pirates were for me at the beginning of the year. I'm like, I'm just not there yet to believe in them.
Oh yeah.
Until they maintain it. Like if they run away with the division, cool, man. More power to you. I'll support them in the postseason.
I'll be shocked if they run away with it against the Astros.
I think the Astros and Angels are going to give them hell. So I don't see them being so far ahead as they were.
Come on, Ace.
But
I'll and to be fair. And I'm not afraid that the Braves will fall off, but the pitching concerns me a little bit. Just the fact that, again, if you'd have told me at the beginning of the season that we're not going to have Max Fried and Kyle Wright for the majority of the season, then I probably would have told you, oh shit, we're probably going to be second or third in the division, But I mean, tonight AJ Smith-Shawver started, 20-year-old. He started pitching 3 years ago. The guy was he was supposed to play quarterback at Texas Tech, and he was the third baseman. And they said, "Hey, you can throw a football 70 yards. Why don't you try throwing a baseball?" Okay. He goes out, throws a baseball 95, and just God-given talent. And he's like, "Oh, I think I'll try pitching." And so it was kind of like Strider was last year. We got him, and I think a 7th round pick, and he just shot up through the minors. And by necessity this year, we had to bring him up. He's looked really good his first couple of starts, but that you can't, that can only last so long. It's a long ass season, man. Like, I mean, I hope we get, I think Kyle he can start a throwing program today again, but that's going to take a while to get him back up. And then Fried's on a 60-day DL. So best case scenario, we get both of these guys back in August, September, and you got to hope that they're.
I'm going to make you feel better. Your team is too stacked, John. You don't have to worry about it. Your team is too stacked, man. It's too loaded. You got
offensively, yeah. I mean, like it's in the bullpen, dude. How about Jesse Chavez, man?
Oh,
39-year-old man.
XA.
1.55 ERA. I mean, come on.
He came out of that game injured. What was it, yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever it was? He came out of that game injured, and I'm like, yeah, because he's freaking made of duct tape. Like, how is he freaking? Yeah, how is he still pitching? Like, I feel like he was around when I was in high school.
Oh, man, he's been around for absolutely forever.
He just loves the Braves because you know what? We had him, then we traded him for Iglesias there in the Angels. He sucked with the Angels. We got him back from the Angels. He went to the Cubs, was there for like 2 months, sucked with the Cubs. Like, all right, come on back.
Right.
He's back again, and he's kicking it. He should make the All-Star game this year, man. He should.
That'd be crazy if he did make it this year at Chavez. Out of all the guys there. I'll get going here. We got to about the halfway show. We got question of the week here. Presented by Row One Brand. Just curious your guys' thoughts here with it. Use that code VSP15, get 15% off there in the art gallery. Maybe a picture of the Oakland Coliseum. One more time, folks, before we go there. Sorry, I can't help myself today. We got that going. All right, best. I did this on Fat Boy Fadeaway this week. I thought it was kind of a good question. Curious your guys' thoughts on it. Best in-stadium game giveaway you have personally received, and a free one. So, bobblehead, whatever, and that thing. I said a John Jaha real wooden bat was my favorite one I received. I still have it here. Signed.
When was that?
That probably would have been around 1999.
I was going to say, they don't do that shit anymore. People be beating the hell out of each other in the freaking stadiums
we got assault charges all around the park,
absolutely, yeah.
We had that with the Angels.
Can you imagine a Dodgers Padres game?
Dude, oh my God.
It was bad enough. Like I went to an Angels game where they gave away, like this was back in like 2002, 2003 when they had the like boomsticks or whatever that you just like, that you like bang together. God. And those are inflatable. and
Oh
it
my
was
God.
awful. Like everybody's just like wailing on each other, and you're like, all right, all this noise, is it the boomsticks going together, or is it people like actually wailing on each other? Like
That's
you
so
couldn't tell.
funny. You give people something like that is like, I do like PE, so I do this game with like those noodles and swim. They have to like tag it. You just like, it's instant like hitting each other. That's just what that stuff is.
Right,
John, you got one out of a baseball game, maybe a ball head, like a towel. Bobby Cox, you got something there that stands out to you?
Oh man, I should have brought I've got so many bobbleheads. One I didn't get, but I'm pissed off about. They just had one at here in Atlanta. It was Outcast night at Truist Park.
Nice.
So they had Andre 3000 and Big Boy in a Cadillac. With dude, you got just Google it. It's like, I think it's already on eBay for like $500. But yeah. So, and Big Boy was there. He threw out the first pitch, and he was it was awesome. They said that was the biggest crowd they've had since the World Series.
That's awesome.
Like, that was crazy. I know I had I got a beer mug that was like a baseball bat.
Yeah,
it was huge, and that was pretty cool. Yeah,
was that a long time, like childhood, or where did you get that one? That's a big thing.
No, that was like what was it, 2017,
they gave a free
18?
One, a free.
Yeah, it was like a giveaway. It wasn't like everyone got one. It was
yeah,
in the park. Yeah, so
gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, you got one there?
I might have a couple. Like, so one was would be 2003.
All right.
So I was still in high school.
Yep.
And they did. So I grew up in Southern California. So I grew up like 5 minutes from Angel Stadium. So the Angels are my hometown team, even though I'm a Giants guy. And so I always kind of root for the Angels as well. But they did replica, because it was 2002, they won the World Series, right? So they did replica World Series rings, right? Which, like, a bunch of teams do that now, but at the time that wasn't really a huge, like, wide thing. And so I still have a replica 2002 Angels World Series ring. I've still got it around here somewhere, but so that was probably my most memorable. In terms of my favorite though, like I'm a simple man, right? Like I just love trading cards. Like, I love when they would give a pack of cards that had every single player on the team. Like, they're not worth anything. Who cares? But like, I remember like when I first moved to Arizona, I got, maybe it was a little bit before. It was still in the like Mark Grace, Matt Williams days of Arizona. And so that might have actually been right before I moved here, but they gave a package of cards. And of course, so like, you've got like Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling, and I wasn't a Diamondbacks fan, but those guys are huge, right? And so like, you get a pack of cards of those guys, and like, I was early at the game and I got those cards. And at the time, they always did, the Diamondbacks had mandatory autograph signings for their players. Like, they literally had their players posted up around the stadium, and it was mandatory. They had to go sign autographs for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever. And so I got, so I still have Steve Finley, I have Matt Williams, that like all these guys' autographs on the cards. And so that was probably the best in-stadium giveaway that I got, because I was able to take advantage of this kind of secondary part of it, of getting guys to autograph them. So I've got, I didn't get RJ, didn't get Randy Johnson, but I got the
giveaways were better, Josh, in the 90s too.
Like, 100%.
Oh, they were. Oh, they totally were.
They were, but
I got a freaking wooden bat.
Right.
Yeah. I still use it today. I just played baseball with my kids.
I will say though, like a little bit of a homer pick. Like, I love the promotions that the Giants do. The Giants giveaways this year, if you look at their schedule and all the different giveaways that they do on different days, I'm like extremely jealous that I don't live in the Bay Area and have season tickets this year, because it's been awesome. Like, I've really enjoyed seeing what the giveaways are for the Giants this year. But all that to say, like, those were my two like favorites or most memorable.
Got a shout out to our guy here, Smitty, tuning in here. Appreciate that, my friend. Love to maybe even have you on one of these times here. Who knows? But I'll look forward to commenting with you on the Out of Your Falcon Mind podcast as well. Thanks again for tuning in tonight, and good luck with your endeavors as well there. Gentlemen, that was our question of the week here. Best in-stadium giveaway. I think that's always a fun one. We kind of have memories of that. I have a wallet, A's wallet. That's like a Velcro one. My brother had he went to the game that Ricky Henderson broke the record. Lou Brock, that was his first game. And he said at the game, he still has it. And then in that era, they used to print out who went to the game to make sure. So he has a little card with my mom's name and his. He probably was like 5 at the time. So it was kind of cool back then. Middle relief here. St. Louis Cardinals, we kind of touched on a little bit with Smitty there in a second. He brought it up. What do you think, John? They do something at the deadline. They've been sucking it up here. Josh Edwards, congratulations on the baby, but your team really sucks right now, my friend.
Appreciate the sweep. Appreciate the sweep here this week.
What do you think here, my friend? They got to blow it up. I'm not a Cardinals guy. I always feel like they're in it no matter what. I wouldn't blow it up. They would have massive trade pieces. What do you think? Should they do that?
No, I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I'm just so used to them being like competing, and it's I don't know. This next month is going to, next 3 weeks will tell us a lot, I guess. I mean, if it just looks like it's going to keep falling, is Marmol going to keep his job? And much like if they keep, that's who
they should sell.
The players maybe gave him the kiss of death today when they say they came out and supported him. That's kind of always,
man. The way he did, what his name? Tyler was it? Tyler was it? The Jack dude, O'Neal. Tyler O'Neal. The way he did that, man, was just ridiculous. That's just not what, you know what I mean? Like, you don't do that publicly, and then it's just handled so bad. I don't know. I think they should. Yeah, I'm with Josh. Sell the manager and keep the boys, and because
everybody wants to see it. Just give him a shot. Sign Yadier Molina to the manager role next year.
There you go.
Give him. So here's the thing. Like, I love Pujols. We talked a little bit about it last episode of like, I love where he's at. I love where he's at. So I don't want him to move. But here's the thing. I would love to see Yadier Molina as a manager for them, just so everybody shuts the hell up and just be like, all right, like either he'll be really good and that's good for the Cardinals, or he'll be really bad and we can all just shut up about it. Yep. Like, and stop like being like Yadier Molina was the heart and soul of that. And he was the manager, just not in name and stuff like that. So that's what I'll say about that. I don't think they'll be sellers. I think those pieces, Goldschmidt and Arenado are unmovable, no matter how bad they are. I don't think they get moved at all. Maybe they move some arms or something like that, but I don't think they're going to be like sellers, like clean house.
That's not what the Cardinals do.
No,
that's not the Cardinals way. It would be interesting though, man. They could get a lot for those guys right now if they wanted to.
100%.
They have the most intriguing guys that would change the whole entire. Let's go to right what you said. My next question: Who's more likely to get fired first? Buck Showalter. We got the Cardinals coach there. We got Bob Melvin's team that's struggling along the way. David Ross, maybe of the Cubs. Phil Nevin of the Angels, if they go in a slump here before the deadline. Just real quick, who do you guys think gets fired first? If you had to put your money on it, John, who do you think gets canned? Before the season ends.
Before the season ends. Okay.
Ooh. Okay. Well, since Cohen came out and gave the also vote of confidence to Buck Showalter.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's tough. Because you hear what he said. He said, who am I going to hire? Which is kind of a shitty answer because there's plenty of folks you could bring in there, but it's okay.
Yeah.
God, I want to say Buck so bad, but honestly, maybe Marmol, man. Like, I kind of really feel like if they keep I don't think St. Louis is going to put up with that, man. Like, I don't think he's already in good graces, and I think if that just keeps going south and they stay in the cellar where they're at, he's going to be out. But my heart says Buck. Let's put it that way.
Josh, money on the line. Maybe it's another manager, but out of those 5, I think those are the most likely. I thought, who do you think gets canned before the season ends?
Before the season ends, I got to go Marmol. Yeah, my heart says Buck too, but not for the same reasons.
Of course not.
I want to say
Melvin to get canned. I mean,
I just don't like Buck Showalter. Like, I don't like his philosophy. I don't like how he manages. I just don't like anything about him. And so, I feel like if they would have not called up some of those young kids, and he just kept rolling out those guys that he was rolling out at the beginning of the season, I think it would have been him in a runaway. But with how bad Marmol has been doing, I think you said it perfectly, John. St. Louis doesn't put up with that, man. They have sustained excellence as their goal, whether it's World Series or not. It's sustained excellence within the division at least. They're not. Yeah, they're below 300 right now. Like if they maintain that much past the All-Star break, he'll be gone probably come August.
It's funny that you think it. I mean, they're in last place in what we were talking about as the worst division in baseball. So that's obviously not a good thing to get there. I got to think Bob Melvin's the interesting one there. I think he could be. And everybody's like, well, Bob Melvin, he's safe. He got the job. But they spent a lot of money on that team, too. So if you continue to stay in fourth place, I would feel a little warm there. That's all I'm going to say there if I'm the ownership there.
Did
and
you
if I'm
see
Bob Melvin in that situation. I do think he's a second half coach, but so I do have confidence in him. But that'd be a position I wouldn't want to be in right now if I'm him.
I feel like Melvin's never good until you threaten his job.
Basically, maybe that's
yeah, you should do that now. Yeah. Did you see though? Like, I think it was after we beat the Mets the other day, and that was the 10-run like insane game we had. When Buck said he was proud of the team, and did y'all like the Mets fan? Oh my God, the Mets fans lost their minds. Like just going on and reading some of the comments. That was fun. I mean,
Mets fans have been through a lot. They've been through a lot.
Yeah, they really have. I really have. And I'll give it to Buck. I don't know what you can't just come out. The guys know that they blew a game, and like you can't just keep shitting on them. And they are. That's not smart either. But I don't know that I would have said I'm proud. That might have been I might have used a different terminology.
I always think of Buck Showalter of. Oh, sorry if I cut you off there. My thing was there for a minute there. I always think of Buck Showalter because of Baseball Tonight, and with him, Carl Ravage, Peter Gavin. It's hard not to think of that hair right there with it. And so those are the days I always think of Buck Showalter. All right, middle relief here. Last question. We'll get to our seventh inning stretch. I got a question here for John. What players or teams, real quick, do you think will continue to surprise? Just a team that just kind of comes to your mind. I think the Orioles. I'm kind of all in on them now. I've been kind of waiting for them to regress. I'm kind of at the point now where I think they're ready. So that's the team that I think will continue to surprise me, I guess. So any team jump out to you or player, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, sorry to sound like a homer, but for me, it's the Giants. Like we had the I don't remember if it was the best record or second best record in the month of May, which we needed. We weren't playing like great teams in May. Like that's you got to feast on the bad teams, right? But 4 games above 500 is better than I thought we'd be, to be honest. So I think the Giants, they've shown me a lot in the first couple months here in terms of just kind of forgoing what made them so bad last year. And having a little bit of a different philosophy, which might save Gabe Kapler's job this year. He might get another year or two out of the deal here. But to me, like, it was surprising how good they've been. And so I know they're still in third in the division. I get it. But I was not expecting that. And so if they continue, like, see what happens with the Dodgers, and we've got Dodgers Padres over the next week. So we'll see what happens with that. But they've been surprising, and I mean, they've shown me enough to be like, all right, if we stay on this trajectory, if Gabe Kapler and the guys on the computers don't mess it up, then like they can make some noise and do some damage.
That's a good call. I like
maybe get in there as a wild card team. But
the Giants I have been surprised. Go ahead, John. Sorry, I cut you off.
I was gonna, Josh, are you Gabe? Do you like Gabe? Are you a fan of his?
No, I'm not.
No,
not even a little bit. I thought he was a bad hire from the start. So
I was surprised.
He has not done anything to change my opinion. We'll put it that way. Not even the 107 win season. Like,
you couldn't have went more opposite from Bochy to.
No. Yeah. Well, and it's funny because like I wanted to give him a chance because Bochy was the same way. I did not like the Bochy hire back in the day when it first happened. Mm-hmm. But he changed my mind. Like, hard to argue with 3 World Series, right? Like, yeah, I mean,
for sure.
So I can't really argue with him. Whereas Kapler, like, he was shit with the Phillies. Like, he was absolute garbage.
Oh, and great. I loved it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you did. But awesome. Like, I'm just like, he's not a good manager. Like, he seems like an all right dude, I guess. He's always the first one. If somebody's hurt or in a tough spot mentally or whatever, like he seems like a good dude. Like he seems to genuinely care about his players and care about the team and whatnot. I think he's just a bad manager. So I don't have anything against him personally. I just don't think he's a good baseball manager. So but that being said, I think they're playing well in spite of him. And so if he stays out of their way a little bit, which he has been doing, there's been every time they've hit a skid this year, it's because he starts to like overmanage. It's like he's going to get into the platoons too much. He's going to start switching guys around. Like, oh, you played second base yesterday, you're going to play shortstop today, and then I'm going to move you to left field, and like this kind of moving everybody around so much. When he stays away from overthinking it, the Giants do well. And so if he just leaves those guys in their where they're performing well, if he just kind of leaves it alone a little bit and lets them perform, I think the Giants are in a good spot.
Yeah, I think that's what drove Philly fans nuts, was just the amount of analytics he used, and just overkill analytics, like just made no sense. But yeah, I agree with you. For me, as much as I've shit on him, I don't think the Mets can stay down this whole year. I think they're just too talented. They're just players wise. I mean, despite whoever the manager is, it just seems like that they'll eventually make a push at some point. I mean, I know Scherzer and Verlander have to get old at some point. And I think it's somewhat starting to show a little bit this season. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be down at the rest of the season, as much as I hate to say it. But and I think Texas will keep on, man. I'm not a full believer, but like their offense is legit. So and I think if they can keep, I don't know, Houston. I know Houston's not going to go anywhere, but I think Texas could be a player there in the playoffs for sure. But
I would say one player. I know this is going to sound stupid. I'm 100% like saying that, but players that will continue to surprise me is Shohei. Like, I know, like, everybody's like, yeah, he's the best player in baseball. Like, he's pitching, he's batting. But to me, like, everybody was like talking about how, like, oh, like, Judge is doing great again. Does he hit 62 again? Like, he's on fire. I'm like, Shohei Ohtani has 2 more home runs than he does, and he's pitching.
He's one behind Alonso for the home run lead.
He's one behind Alonso for the entire league.
Yep.
And I'm just like, this guy just continues to surprise me. It's insane. Like, it's ridiculous. Talking about buyers and sellers, I'm like, freaking Giants, go get him in the offseason. Like, we've got so much.
The Angels can't trade him.
I don't think they'll trade him, but if he's a free agent in the offseason, I know the Dodgers, everybody's kind of like, oh, the Dodgers didn't sign anybody this last year because they're going to go hard after Ohtani. But I mean, the Giants have a boatload of money.
Freeman, Ohtani as your 3 hitters. I mean, come on, Dodgers, have a little love for the wrestlers.
That might make me puke a little, but but Shohei just continues to surprise me. Like,
that's a good call.
I'm just like, what else can this guy like do to prove that he's the best player in baseball?
He doesn't lead the league in hitting. He's not doing that.
Well, no, but on that point, so I'll say a different surprise, which isn't one particular player. It's kind of the league as a whole. But I read a stat today that there's not a single qualified hitter in the league that is over 1,000 OPS right now.
Wow.
And to me, that blew me away. I'm like, really? Like, not Judge, not Ohtani, not Alonso, not Acuna, nobody is over an OPS of 1,000. And I'm just like, what? Like, how? And I don't know what I just saw the headline. I didn't do a deep dive into it. Like, what does that mean for, like, I'm curious to know. Like, I only saw this stat today, so I didn't get a chance to do a deep dive into it like I normally like to do. But that's interesting to me because I'm like, that's surprising. Are the new rules in terms of shifts and bases and stuff like that? Have they so much helped the game in terms of stolen bases and singles and base hits and doubles? Have they so much helped the game that we're seeing less of those home runs that are now, like, it's almost bringing the OPS down because you're not getting as many total bases in your at bats? I don't know. It's a question that I'm interested in seeing what the stats are on that. But anyway, surprises Ohtani and just stats wise, how the stats have shifted this year.
John, I want to go to the 7th inning stretch here. I want to focus on you for a second here. You went on what was your biggest takeaway from going to Cooperstown, New York? It's definitely on my bucket list. I remember my grandma back in the day, you got to go there, Darren. You got to get there. It's a great place. It's definitely one of those places I want to go to. It's very far away, but I'll get there one of these days for me out here in Northern California. But I'm curious to get your experience on it. You sent me a picture, a cool tweet there of the A's logo. That was pretty awesome. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Your thoughts there, sir, of Cooperstown, New York?
Any of your kids play baseball? When they get to 12, they can just go there and play. Yeah. So, I mean, that's
I'll just drive there 3,000 miles.
Yes, no problem. Yeah. No, it's funny. We actually drove. It was I think it was a 14-hour drive, but we did it in 2 days. Like we stopped in Virginia and then we went up on the second day. But so the reason we were up there is my son's 12U team. Obviously, they have the huge tournament there in Cooperstown every year. So they've got 2 different parks. They've got All-Star Village, which is where we were, and they've got Dreams, which is the original one. The biggest difference really is Dreams is a lot bigger. They've got maybe 20 to 30 some odd fields, and the All-Star Village has 12, I believe. But they all, the boys go, they stay in the bunkhouses with the coaches. The parents go and just do whatever the hell they want to do. They show up for the games. They check the kids out whenever they want to, go to the Hall of Fame, whatever. Dude, it was a blast, man. I mean, the boys played. They have 6 pool play games. They play 2 games for 3 days in a row, and then bracket play starts. It was, and like they've got fields that are like the Green Monster. There's one called the Green Monster. So like and they're all shorter fields. So like they're it's made for home runs. It's made for more offense. Coaches told our kids like, hey, you guys, our pitchers, you guys are going to give up bombs. It would be typical like pop flies around here, but it's going to be a bomb in Cooperstown. So just don't freak out. Don't worry about it. But it was just basically, he had a blast, man. I mean, like the only thing that sucked was that wildfire in freaking Canada brought smoke down. And so like and it pushed one of our games from 2:45 on Wednesday to like a 7 a.m. start the next day. That was rough. But yeah, I mean, overall, man, and then going to the Hall was just mind blowing, man. Like as a baseball, baseball really my first love as a sport, and like going there and seeing Babe Ruth's freaking shoes and his bowling ball and just some random stuff. And then of course, like my son's a huge Hank Aaron fan, as am I. I mean, he wore his Hank Aaron Braves jersey to the Hall, and got pictures with him in that exhibit. Just all the hit, dude. It's wild just to see all the history. And it was any baseball fan, you got to make it. And I'm just glad that because I was skeptical at first because of how much money this thing costs, just the tournament as a whole. Just to go there with the team, and then you've got the whole expenses and everything else. But yeah, worth every penny, man. Like it was just the experience he had. He'll never forget it, man. And then just like I said, going and seeing all those the players I grew up watching, and then the players I've obviously heard my father and grandfather talk about. It was wild.
I'm curious, how big is the Hall of Fame? Like, is it something you can see in one day pretty easily?
Oh yeah,
easily.
Yeah, okay. Definitely,
What's the entrance like? You get there, it has like the old guys, or is it new, or what's
basically
it like?
It's just so random, man. Like it's Cooperstown itself, so such a small town. I mean, like it's literally you're just walking out, it's like, oh shit, there's Hall of Fame. Like it's just this this brick building, and the only reason I noticed it had Fred McGriff's banner out there, as going in this year or whatever.
That's funny. Oh yeah.
So you walk in, you go through, you give your ticket, they tell you a little bit about it, kind of tell you there's 3 different stories. So they tell you kind of like what's on each level. You've got the gift shop at the end. So when you're done, you go in the gift shop, and that's just a freaking money. Like you can just go like, it's ridiculous.
That's sick.
Yeah. And so, one level's got all the memorabilia, and, they've got videos playing like of just iconic moments, throughout it. And then just different, they've got artwork, and then and of course the lower level is where all the plaques are, and that room where the plaques are, that like me and my son, we turned the corner, and that kind of like took us aback. We're like, oh shit, like it's just this huge like sprawling room. You're like, wow, and it's just just a great experience, man, overall.
That's cool. You were showing some pics there online. I thought that was a really cool thing that you were able to do. I'm very jealous. The Hank Aaron picture you had there, I think it was done there. That was really cool. In the uniform the colors you're wearing right now. So definitely on my bucket list of places we want to go. Gentlemen, we're kind of getting near the end of the pod here. Josh, I know you got to get out of here in a few minutes. Getting close to midnight here, Eastern time, 9 o'clock our time. I got my final segment here, 3 outs away here. We'll get through this here. And what's your favorite baseball record of all time? I'm going to say mine is, for some reason, the 7 no-hitters is just insane to me. That one is a record that is just crazy. And I also have, even though it was kind of done in a long time ago, the 56 game hitting streak just seems, it's just never going to be broken. Just insane. Like, that to me is just one of those things. Second place is 44. So those two records to me are just my favorites when I think baseball right away. John, you got a record that just stands out to you right away, or you think of?
Warren's, and it's not, I know Cy Young had like 700 something, but Warren Spawn's 382 complete games or something like that.
Good God.
Unreal. I mean, that sounds like it's fake. It doesn't sound like, it sounds like it's made up. That's one of my favorites. And then just to be kind of funny, like I think Biggio still leads the league or the record like for hits hit by pitch, right? Isn't it like 260 or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, well, you have the darn shoulder pad though, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Which is funny. It's funny because my kid leads our team in getting hit by pitches, so I just thought that was funny because awesome. He took 3 in 2 games up in Cooperstown.
Tell your kid Biggio's in the Hall of Fame, right?
No, I mean it was leg, arm, and then back. I was like, dude, but yeah. So hang on, 285 hit by pitches. This is Craig Biggio.
That's crazy.
That is nuts, man. And his closest guy is 197. That's funny. Yeah,
that's insane.
Josh, go ahead.
That's a funny one. Josh, you got a record that stands out to you that immediately you think of?
Yeah, man. Funny little quick story. So like I had aspirations to be a pro ball player. And so my parents one year for Christmas gave me this was, I think 2001, actually gave me the official like Major League Baseball record book, like as a Christmas gift.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm like looking through it, and I would like go through and like highlight the records that I wanted to break. And I'm like, I wanted to do, but top of the list, and it's always stuck with me, and like still has, even as an adult, is Cal Ripken Jr.'s consecutive games. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, like I know a lot of people have kind of poo-pooed on it because it's just like, oh, he didn't really have to do anything. Like, he had to be good enough to be in the lineup every freaking day. Like, is Cal Ripken Jr. one of the best players in baseball history? No. Like I'm not going to make that argument at all. Mm-hmm. But what I love about that stat is he was good enough to be in the lineup every single day. And with the way that the game is now in terms of platoons and all that sort of stuff, like I think it's one of the more unbreakable records, even more so than 56 games or 511 wins, which I mean, obviously those won't be broken either, but they won't be touched either. But it's just, those are gameplay type things, right? No, whereas his is more of a, like, you have to be good enough for an exceedingly long time. And so that one always stuck out to me because it was the one that I wanted. Like as I was growing up playing the game and playing the way I did, that was the one that I wanted. Like I wanted to beat Cal Ripken Jr.'s record. Like, of course, I was naive and didn't know how unbreakable it was, but there was no way I was going to beat that record. But
that's a good one.
That one has just always stuck out to me. It's fresh in my mind too because I experienced when it happened, right? He set the record against the Angels. And so like the whole experience of him taking the lap around the stadium and get standing ovation and all that.
Like, he on a horse, for God's sakes.
It was phenomenal. Like the whole thing was phenomenal. So like it was great. And so that's always been a special record for me.
Not just that, like to stay healthy, to not have like a like you didn't have a stomach ache for one game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't extreme enough for him to not play. Right.
Like it's just like I'm sure he didn't feel great every single one of those games.
Sure. Yeah.
But he still saddled up and did it anyway.
My brother liked the 400 record. I think, and Tyler, who does Fat Boy Fade, I think that's a good one too, just because of the drama it would take place. Like if there was actually a player that came close to getting 400,
but it's not a record. It's just the last. It's not it's the last person to do it. Like the record is by Ty Cobb, and it is like it's ridiculous. It's like 4.
I guess it's like the one. It's like one of those records where like hitting 400 is more impressive because the record is so untainable, right?
Like I get that hitting 400, like, but I like that drives me as a stats nerd. I'm just like the people who say like, oh, I want to see the record broken of batting 400. That's not the record. Like that's not the record. Like, yes, Ted Williams was the last one to do it at 406, but that just means he was the last one to do it. Like,
well, I'm standing strong. Nobody's breaking Nolan Ryan's 7-game no-hitter.
100%. I'm 100% with you.
I'm staying strong on that one. All right, I'm dying here, folks. Dying on a mountain here. Help me out, boys. Help me feel a little bit better tonight. Little A's reminiscence here. I've had a beer in me here, feeling good here. Help me out. Maybe two during the pod. What do you think about A's? Give me one of your favorite A's players of all times, or a moment that, good or bad, that'll make me think of the A's. You guys got one that first jumps out to you?
You know what, dude? You know, my first memory of the A's is the damn earthquake.
Fair enough. I was 5 years old in a mall in Santa Rosa, California. Very disappointed as a 6-year-old that game.
Yeah, that was my first player, though. It's hard not to say Ricky Henderson, man. Love watching him just take bases. Dave Stewart.
Stu from Oakland. Yeah. Both those guys from Oakland. Dave Stewart had a good interview out here today. That was a good one out there. Mark McGuire, also maybe a
McGuire's hard. Yeah, absolutely.
Dave Henderson, Carney Lansford, some good players there from the
Dennis
80s.
Eckersley.
Yeah. The act. Can you not think of the act there?
Yeah, man.
Josh.
So it's hard for me, right? Because they're the crosstown rivals of the Giants, right? But B, they're also in the same division as the team that I grew up watching the most in the Angels. And so it's like I kind of have the double whammy of like really hating the A's. And so like same thing with the Dodgers. The Dodgers are on the flip side of that in terms of crosstown with the Angels and then rival with the Giants. But man, like, so anytime I think of the A's, I'm just like, ugh, like that's just always
player. You got to have a player.
Oh man, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's got to be Ricky. Like I love stolen bases, and so like I will say Ricky is one. He's not a player, but Connie Mack, as just a historian of the game, like I love Connie Mack's stories and the fact that, and that's exactly right. I love that he wore a suit. I think managers in uniforms are awful. So I abhor managers in uniforms. So I love the whole manager in a suit thing.
Aaron Boone coming out in a suit and tie arguing with them. That would be great.
Awesome.
Right? It doesn't even have to be a suit for me. Like, I mean, look at like football coaches. They're not wearing
already a FU Tyler. Sorry.
That's funny.
That's funny.
No, Connie Mack's not a player, but he's one that sticks out to
He's not an Oakland A though, Josh. Let's get that straight.
That's fair. He's Philadelphia.
All right, I'm going to tell you here my favorite Oakland A of all time. It's not Miguel Tejada. It's not even close. Not even close. My favorite A of all time. Those 2000 teams. I mean, I was 16, 17, 18. Prime years during those 2000 years. Those are some big teams for me. I love Tejada, love Giambi, love Chavez, but Tejada was the main guy for me. And then the big three, hard not to think of Hudson, Mulder, and Zito.
I was just about to say Tim Hudson. That was like maybe the first guy that you –
Georgia, your boy right there in Georgia.
Probably the first guy that the A's gave to the Braves, I think. That was that's what started it. That's what started the whole –
And Huddy and Zito played for the Giants, so it's all good.
Sure did, yep.
Those are some good days, some good times. We'll think about Oakland players in the past now, apparently. But I just appreciate you guys talking about that with me. There's some good. There were some good ball players that the A's have had over the years that people just forget about for sure. Eric Chavez that I mentioned before. We'll think of some other guys as well there. One of my fan favorites that probably a lot of people. Terrence Logg, a guy that I used to love on the A's as well. There, Josh.
Oh, I was just like, I don't know if their lineup is deep enough to think this way. Like, you would know better than I do. But what jumped out at me is like, okay, who's going to be the best Las Vegas A of all time? Like, who's going to be the guy like right off the bat that solidifies himself as the first like Las Vegas A's guy? Like, is it Shea? Is it who's that center fielder that you guys got? Is it like who is it? Or is it not somebody that's on the roster right now?
Honestly, I just don't care. Honestly,
fair enough.
Honestly, I don't care who they are with that.
Are you going to stay? Are you going to stay an Ace or whatever they are?
You know, it's funny. I kind of remember growing up with my grandfather out here, and he was a big baseball fan, and like I feel like I have like just the same sarcasm as he does, and I feel like I always remember him talking about the San Francisco Seals, and like he would watch baseball. Like, he honestly would watch them with me, but like. I could always tell, like, he just kind of watched it with me, like, as a baseball fan, not really, like, he just didn't care. I think that's how I'll be. Like, I'll still watch, but, like, for me, it's like, I listened to that game Tuesday on the radio. Like I care enough if it was going to be a big fan, but like, I don't know. Maybe I'll still root for him, but it's not going to be the same for sure. Go to the Braves, I guess. That's maybe my thing.
Different A. Yeah.
Hey, I got this. Do I go Orioles or
no? Neither. No.
There you go.
We've got some of the A's players. It's just natural. It's just natural.
Hey, you're naturally you're kind of with the like bad ownership and like crappy team. It's a natural transition over to the Pirates.
I like their hats. I've always liked them. Maybe that's the team I go.
Their ballpark is beautiful.
If you ever listen to my show, I love sports history. It's like literally that's literally the number one thing I like. I love rewatching games. Love looking back at that stuff. Last question here I have for you guys here, just a quick one. This is kind of a little bit more popular probably in your neck of the woods, John. You guys watch the College World Series at all? I mean, there's some good stuff. I don't know if you guys saw Stanford beat Texas on a pop fly to right field. Yes. I mean, you talk about a bad way to lose a baseball game. I like the college baseball because it's not Little League baseball, but like a ground ball to third base sometimes isn't always routine. There is this kind of fun part of it. You guys fans of the College World Series here, John?
I watch it every year, man.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean that Stanford 156 pitches, complete game.
Unreal.
Ridiculous.
I mean, yeah. So I watch it every year. I think it's good. I like any, just being the sports nut. Like I'll watch any playoff series, like just to see the competition. I love Game 7s. I don't care if it's any sport. It could be cricket Game 7. If I don't know what's going on, it's Game 7. I'll watch it. But I mean, if there's especially this year, there's some very good teams in it this year. So looking forward to it.
Have you guys, either of you ever been by chance?
No. I've heard it's a little pricey too. If you want to go to Omaha and watch your boys, it's up there because all the hotels go through the roof and they all know what it's, everybody's there for.
The time to go was like 20 years ago from it.
Basically.
That was probably the time to go now. Now it's more of an event. Josh, Omaha, Nebraska, out of all the places in the world is where it's held. Were you a big fan of the World Series here?
I wouldn't say I'm a big fan, but I'm kind of like John. Like if they're keeping score, I'll watch it. Like it's one of those things where if it's on, like I'm watching it. But at the same time, like I think I would watch it more. This is kind of a weird caveat, but I would watch it more if they used wood bats instead of aluminum. Like to me, a yoked like 18, 19-year-old with an aluminum bat is just not fun to me. That's just I hate the sound. Like I would be
like shooting a basketball into a chain net. Then
I would be actually flip side of that. I actually love chain nets, but for basketball, like I 100% love the chain net for basketball. But no, I don't like that aspect of it. But yes, like I do enjoy watching it. I mean, I grew up in Southern California where Cal State Fullerton was a absolute powerhouse for many years, and so it's always been fun for me. And so, I do enjoy it.
I always associate College World Series, not as much now, but for me, getting out of school, that was kind of like summer, like, all right, school's out. I get home, like the World Series be out at 11 a.m. You got TV. So that's kind of my, Western time. It starts here. Some of the games at 10 a.m. So that's kind of what I associate with the College World Series is summer vacation. Was Tyler got here? More ping, less sting. That's what
That's exactly right. We said that all the time.
More ping, less sting.
I'm still blown away that I did not know you guys were brothers. Like that freaking.
We're not brothers. We're not.
Okay.
So me and my brother Casey, he's on there. He was on me this last week. We're brothers.
Gotcha.
Tyler, I've known since basically he was like 5, so I was 8.
Gotcha. Okay.
Me and my brother, him and my brother are the same age. So they went to first grade together, became
makes you feel better. Okay.
Then we just kind of hung out from there. So we basically feel like, and I played sports with his 2 older brothers. So we're kind of one of those families that kind of just know each other.
That makes sense.
At that point on. Tyler, if you're out there, miss you on the Fat Boy Fadeaway, man. Looking forward to getting you back on there one of these times here when he's getting married here in November.
I was going to say, he's got congratulations coming too.
He's got bigger fish to fry here at the moment than a little podcast here. Gentlemen, that was my questions for the week here on the 7th inning stretch. Honored to be kind of on the show with you guys this week. John, I know you do football stuff basically 12 months of the year. And like we said, football is king in the sense that there's always content. There's always stuff to do. You and Mike do an excellent job. I feel that way about you guys. You guys just are tremendous, almost like leadership for our network in a sense. The way you guys just put out stuff and the way you guys are constantly raising the bar So I respect the way you guys do stuff just immensely. Where can we find you guys out? Obviously, it's getting closer to training camp here. Appreciate you taking your time here to join 7th Inning Stretch. But where can we check you guys out at?
Yeah, man, y'all can catch us Out of Your Falcon Mind on YouTube. Of course, we're here on Variety Sports as well. So if you're subscribed to us on Out of Your Falcon Mind, make sure you're subscribed to Variety Sports as well, because you'll catch this show, Fat Boy Fadeaway, Thinking Baseball, just all the great shows here on VSN. But we're on Twitter. That's where we do most of our social media. It's I'm like the elder millennial, so like I don't love social media, but I know it's like a necessary evil to grow. You know what I mean? To keep it going.
I hear you.
Yeah. So like, but we do most of Twitter. Mike is he handles our TikTok and our Instagram, and it's just Out of Your Falcon Mind. If you go follow that, you will laugh your ass off. I promise you. He handles all that for us. And then, we'll as soon as the season kicks off, we'll be doing 2 shows a week. We'll have a preview show of the game coming up that week, and then we'll do a recap show. And then in the off season, we've just been keeping it going, man. We just found things to talk about. We had a mailbag show last night, which was hilarious. We had good questions popping in there. So, man. And I appreciate those kind of words, Darren. We try. It's a grind, man. Y'all know it's a grind. If you just want to keep this going, it's something, man. But yeah, big fans of you guys. We would definitely want to do a show with you with Fat Boy Fed. We got to do that at some point. Yeah. And anytime y'all, and I love talking baseball. So anytime either one of you guys want me on the show, just holler at me, man. If I can make it, I will make it.
Well, I would love to talk Atlanta A's sometimes, so we'll definitely
Let's do it.
Sometime to do that, but awesome. We could join you that you could jump on tonight. Josh, I know you were kind of taking a little break here, doing some exploring some other things there. Where can we find you at? What are your latest endeavors here? Sir.
Yeah, just engage on Twitter. I'm on there usually talking about either the Giants or baseball in general, or Star Wars. are usually what
I gotta say, I just
went
to Disneyland. I just went to Disneyland this last week on vacation. Okay, the Cars ride at California was the best one. Because maybe some of the memories with the kids, but that Star Wars ones were badass, man. If you ever go, those were pretty good. And I just took my daughter for the first time a couple weeks ago to Disneyland, and it was a blast. And we spent half the day in Galaxy's Edge. I thought you were gonna say you spent your life savings.
No, we didn't go that far. So yeah, it was a blast. We have a tradition where we take, for their 10th birthday, we take our kids to Disneyland, and so awesome. It was her turn this year, and so that was a blast. But I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. That's coming down the pike of there's a Star Wars book coming out that will be by me. Awesome. So that'll be coming. And no, I've just been working on other things. Yeah, I took a step back from the podcasting arena, but I love coming on to guest and have fun with you guys and whatnot. But then in a couple weeks, we'll have a launch of what I've actually been working on, which is more products and artwork in the game of baseball and stuff like that. So that'll be what's coming down the pike and kind of memorializing the game of baseball a little bit. So it'll be fun.
Very cool. Very cool. I also got I love the way you kind of analyze baseball too. So I've listened to your pod. I love the way you kind of look at it from a different angle. It's definitely different than the way I look at it, which is kind of blunt and asshole-less sometimes like that.
Which is important sometimes.
So that's kind of how I look at it, straightforward like that. So I always love having you come on. I got to say, Josh Edwards, a shout out to you as well, man. We hopefully you watched the show. Hopefully we did you proud here today on the show. Our fearless leader here at Variety Sport Network, Brandon, always working hard over there. Got to shout him out as well. And my boys over at far end of the bench. Congratulations on your Denver Nuggets.
How about it?
Getting the championship. I'm a basketball fan over here. A little jealous at the moment, but whatever. It is what it is. My Warriors got it last year. John, Josh, I'm your host, Darren Breyer, for tonight, 7th Inning Stretch. Till next time. Peace.
Later.